I'm taking new playground for functions. I'm taking blank functions. Definition of a function. Function is a block of statements.
Excuse me.
Which perform some specific task. Functions is simply a set of statements which can be reused or which perform some task and can be reused. Okay, let's say I want to display some variable. I'm having some variables, name, string, shift, let, duration, which is integer, some 60 days. I want to display this. How to display? I can display something like this. Print course name is name and course duration equal to duration. I'm having another course 2 Swift UI letter duration 2, which is some 40 days. If I want to print the same thing again, I want to display the course 2 information. Again, what do I need to do? Course 2 and duration 2. Here, what is happening? Here, these two lines are repeating. Actually, these two print statements are repeating, just values are changing. This is called duplication or redundancy. Basically, it is called duplication. What is the purpose of these two lines? Printing the course details. This is the purpose of these two lines is printing the course details, but the courses are different. And similarly, one moment, let me show you. Duration. Similarly, I want to have one more thing. I want to print high. I want to print high. I want to print some message which is high now. Okay, tomorrow the message is hello. Here, the purpose of this statement and this statement is to print only the values are changed. Only the values are changed. Okay, assume that I am having 5 print statements here at line number 7 to 12. After 30, I am again having some 5 number of highs. Here, this is duplicate actually. Means same thing we are trying to write multiple times. This can be avoided by using functions. Let me write a function. The syntax of the function starts with func. Name of the block. Function, what is function? Function is a block of statements, right? Keep the block of statement which you want to print in the curly braces and use the func keyword and give a name to the block of statements. Print message and open close parenthesis. Function is a block of statements. So there is a block and a function contains a funky keyword. Function starts with funky keyword and the block of statements contains a name and parenthesis. This is how you need to convert. This is how you need to convert anything into a function. You just need to keep the block of statements, the number of lines of code which you want to print. It can be either single line or multiple lines. Not an issue. Single line or multiple lines. It is not a matter, but it should be in the braces, curly braces, and it contains a function and the block of statements contains a name, print message. Now, what I can do is I can instead of writing these five lines of code, I can use a print message here, and I can also use a print message here. This is how we need to call this block of statement contains some name, right? Use that name to call the method. Use that name to call the method. This is the name. This is the name. Print message is the name. Okay. Here course duration, right? Function can also take input arguments. What is function? Function is a block of statement which performs some specific task. While performing the task, it takes some input and produces some output. It takes some input and produces some output. Okay. Here, let me write one more method. Block of statements where I want to perform, where I want to print course details. I want to print course details. Here I'm not passing anything because high is constant. So here also repetitive, right? Here also we can avoid this by using for loop, for in loop, right? We have right by using that we can avoid actually. Anyways, ignore that. I want to print course information, but the course information course 2. Let's say I want to print the func. I'm giving a name display course. Display course is the method name. Here, instead of writing these 2 lines of code, what I can call display course. Here also, instead of writing these 2 lines of code, I can also call display course. Display course. Okay, let me run it and see. Okay, here display course is blocked. Unable to access display code, display course, because it is internally using course 2 duration 2. But before declaring course 2 information, we are trying to display the course 2 information, because here we have used course 2 variables, right? But course 2 variables are not declared when we are calling, by the time we are calling this method. Okay, what we can do in this case, let's say, here the values are dynamic. Simply, I want to say here the values are dynamic. Dynamic in the sense that these 2 are not constants. If I pass course 1, I need to display the information about the course 1, and if I pass the course 2, the input to the function of the purpose of this method is to display the course information. If I pass any course, that information will be displayed. Here I am passing the information, name of the course, which is string, right? String I am trying to pass, and duration of the course. Name of the course, duration of the course, it is integer. Okay, while calling the method, we need to pass this information so that it can print any kind of course. Here, now how to call this kind of methods? Display one more thing is, let me put this method at the top. Display course is the method. I am trying to display the course. Name of the course is name. Duration of the course is duration. Here also I'm having second course. I want to display the course. Course 2. Whatever values I pass here, those will be displayed. Clear? How to call the methods which are having input arguments, input to the function which is taking some input. This is the function name, and it is expecting two arguments. These are called arguments. One is a string input, another one is integer input. We are passing that input here. String input name is a string input, and duration is duration input. Let me remove this for time being to make it clear. Okay, I'm having a block of statements. It contains a name. The name of the method is, then the name of the function is display course, and it is expecting input arguments, two input arguments. One is string, another one is duration. Another one is duration, which is int. I'm having first course information here. I want to display first course information. Instead of writing print statement 2 times, I'm just calling this method display course. Name of the course is so and so. Duration of the course is so and so. I'm having second course. I want to display the second course. Display course. Name of the course is course 2. Duration of the course is duration 2. Clear? This is called function with input arguments. Functions with input arguments. Functions are different types actually. The purpose of the function is clear, right? Instead of writing same lines of code again and again, I have just taken them as a block and given some name and calling that block again and again. Even if you want to print the course information for 10 times also, you can do this. Okay, let me remove this first, make it clear. This is the first course, Swift and 60 days. This is the second course, Swift UI and 40 days. I can also have third course, see course 3, which is C language, letter, duration 3, equal 30 days. What I need to do, and I simply need to call it display course 3, duration 3. Perfect. Everything is printed here. Okay, if you want to separate them, you can also separate them. Print, I can put some divider. Okay, course 1, course 2, course 3. Function is clear, right? This is with input arguments. Okay, functions are these many types. Function, let's see. Function is self-contained chunks of code that perform some specific task. You give a name to the function, what it does, and the name is used to call the function to perform the task. Function is a block of statements which perform some specific task. You give a name to the function and use that method, use that function name to call the function. Okay, if you know the C language, this is the syntax of C language. If you do not know the C language, you just ignore that. This is a Swift way of declaring function name, arguments we have not seen, return type now yet, we'll see them in detail. Functions with descriptive input arguments, functions with multiple return values, function with optional return values, inode parameter, variadic number of parameters. These many methods are, these many types of methods are there. Let me show you one by one. Functions with no input, no output. Let me write a function, a block of statements which prints simply hello friends. It simply prints hello friends. This is a block of statement. I want to give you some name. How to give some name? Say hello. Here, this is the function which is not taking any input. Input arguments will be placed inside the parenthesis. It is not taking any input. It is not returning anything. It's simply displaying something. Okay. Functions with no input argument, no output. How to call this function? Say hello. This is how we call. functions with input arguments with no output. No output. Output we have not seen. We'll see. Func greet, not simply say. Here, greet is my function. I want to, greet is my person. I am passing some name of the person. Block of statement is hello, and using string interpolation person. What it does, this is a block of statement which is expecting some string here. How to call this method? Greet person, it is asking for string. If you pass integer, it will not ask, it will not allow. It will not allow because it is string expecting. I'm saying hello DNREDDi. I'm passing the person name here. Since it is expecting string, I'm passing string only. If you pass integer, it will not accept it. If you pass any other thing, it will not accept it. Okay. Greet person, I am also passing the input argument. Now, functions with input and output. Input and output. Okay. Let me write a function. Func add a value which is of type integer, comma b value which is of type integer. What is this kind of method? I'm trying to write functions with input and output. I'm putting the input, perfect. Output, how to give the output? You need to use arrow and int. Int is the type, return type. Okay, I am performing addition. Result is of type integer equal to a value plus b value. Okay, this is how the method is there. But see the error here. We are telling to the developer or compiler, this method name is A, this block of statement name is A, and which is taking two input arguments of type integers, and also it returns you something, it gives you some output. So you need to return that output. The return is integer. I am returning integer here. Clear? Let me call that method. Add, how to call this method? Add. By seeing the method name itself, you need to identify what it is expecting. Add is a method name. A value is integer I need to pass. B value another integer I need to pass, and it gives you the output as integer type. It gives you the output as integer type. Let A equal to 10. Let B equal to 20. Let result equal to adding two values. A value I am passing, one integer, second integer I am passing. Print sum of A and B. String interpolation using sum of A and B is the result what we have got. Okay, let me call this method first. Only say hello. Hello friend should be displayed. Let me comment the above statements. Multi-line comment by using slash and star. Anyways, say hello. I want to print say hello. Hello friends is printed. Okay, say hello. How do we know that we need to call this way? Same thing, the function name, whatever we have here, same name you need to use here. And greet. Now I'm passing DNREDDi here. Hello DNREDDi. If I pass person name, person name Samba. If I pass that, it prints hello Samba. Okay, this is how you need to pass the input. It is expecting string. If you pass integer, if you pass float, it will not accept, because whatever it is expecting, we need to pass that. That is the fundamental thing which you need to always remember. Cannot convert a value of type double to expected argument type string. The argument type, expected argument type is string, you are trying to pass integer, I will not accept. Now addition between two values here, let me print this. Sum of a and b, 10 and 20 is 30. What happened when you call this method add and passing the value, given the values, it calls this method. It goes here, this value a is copied here, this value b is copied here, and operation is performed. Operation is performed and returning the output. Here we are specifying integer, call this method and get integer, call this method and pass two integers and take one integer. That is the meaning. Once you see the method name itself, you need to understand what exactly it is. What it is expecting as input. Input is within the parenthesis, and what it is giving you the output. Output is after arrow, there is output here. Clear? This is functions with no input arguments and no output. Only it's simply displaying something. Functions with input arguments. This is no input, no output. This is with input, no output. With input, with output. Okay. Functions with next method is functions with. We always use function. We keep using functions till our end of the session, end of the course. Now function with different types of argument. Okay, here we have used only integer and integer. It need not to be integer and integer. It can be anything. So a is after integer, b is after float. I can print a and b. Simply a method. How to call this method? Use the name. So, and it is expecting integer. Either you can directly pass, or you can create variables like this and pass 10 and 20.20. So 10 and 20.2 is printed. Okay. Now functions with a varied number of parameters. I want to perform addition between 2 values, 3 values, 4 values, 5 values, and so on, n values. With varied number of parameters. How to write that function? Func sum values. Values are integer 1, 2, 3 range. I want to perform it. When you use integer, it only accepts one value. If you use integer with range operator, it gives you collection. Collection is array. For I in values where sum equal to 0, here sum equal to sum plus I. Finally, I am printing sum. Here, if you see the difference between some method we already have it, add method, which is taking two integers, a value and b value. Here, I want to perform addition between 2 values, 3 values, 4 values, 5 values, any values, but I want to have only one method. In such cases, we can go for varied number of parameters. When you put 3 dots here, range of operator here, it accepts any number of arguments. Okay, let me show you sum. I can take one, I can give 1 value, 2 value, 3 value, 4 value, 5 value. Okay, 1, 2. See, maybe we need to give array. Let's see. Run it. Okay, sum of, I have passed 2 integers. If you see here, 2 integers, it is accepted. If I pass 3 values, accepted. Same method which is accepting any number of arguments 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, any number of arguments is accepting. This is called a varied number of parameters. You will not use this, but you will face this in interviews. Okay, remember, varied number of parameters. Okay, here I want to show method. We have A and B. We're having functions with labels. Functions with labels for input arguments. I'm writing a method add A value A comma with B value with B, which is the integer again. This is a function. I'm just printing A value A plus B. Okay. If you see the difference between this method and this method, here simply it is A. We have this. We have this. Similarly, kind of method. This kind of method shows a method which is taking one integer and one float. For addition, we have somewhere add. Yeah. Anyways, the extra thing what we have here, A value we have, and width is extra. How we call this method? How did we call this method? How did we call the show method? This is how we have called. This is how we have called show. Now I want to call this method add add A value with B value. Here what happened? Here also we are having add method, add A value with B value. Then 30. This is little clear if you see. Add A value with the another number. Here add A value, B value. This gives more clarity than this. Whenever you have used label, these are called labels actually. Functions with labels. Label means which provides the additional information, clear information. We are having add method. Here also we have another add method. This add method we have here, right? A value, B value. I'm just removing this from here. Okay, here also we're having add method, but this add just only notice this and this line number 90 and line number 104. You can see the differences. Add A value, but we're using A as argument, input argument name here. B value we're using B, but if you see these two are labels, which gives you additional information. Just use labels just before the argument name. Okay, this is functions with labels for the arguments. Label which gives us some additional information, clear information, which gives. Okay, and what else we have? Nested functions are not required. Functions with variety of functions we have seen. Denote parameter, one thing we need to see. Functions with multiple return values. Okay. I want to check func is even. I want to pass some value I'm passing, which is of type integer, but I want to return value and whether it is boolean or not, whether it is even or odd. Now I want to see the return type here. Return type in multiple values. So far we have seen only one return type, integer. Now what is this? Grouping multiple values together. Functions with the tuples as return type. Grouping multiple values together is tuple, right? We have already discussed grouping multiple values together is a tuple. I want to return tuple here. How to return tuple? Simple. I want to check the value. I want to return the value, same value, and want to check whether the value is even or odd. percentile 2 equal 0. If it is 0, it returns you even. Or else I can pass string here. How can we return string here? We can use conditional operator which we have used yesterday. Question mark. If it is even, pass the even. If it is false, pass the odd. Clear? We are expecting two return types, two values return types. So here we are passing two values. One is the value, same value I am passing, and I am passing question mark. I am passing even or odd. Even or odd. How to call this method? Let result equal to is even. I'm passing 10 into the result. See what happens. It prints 10 and even. Two values we have got. Two values we have got. If I pass 11 or 121, result is already used, right? So make it where, so that you can reuse it. 10 even, 121 odd. This is how we use functions with multiple return types. In interviews, they will ask you what is the use of tuple. Tuples are majorly used for returning multiple values from a function. How do you return multiple values? You know now. Just put the data types in the braces, and once you get here, just print them. You can also access the tuple variable by using this, right? By using dots also, indexes also you can use 10, 0th index, first index, even. Perfect. Functions with now we have functions with in-out argument. Basically, by default, all the variables, all the arguments which we have passed to functions are constant. I just want to change the value, whatever value I'm getting, I'm trying to change the value, but it is not accepted because by default, all function arguments are valued constants. Cannot assign a value of type value is a less constant, let constant. This is constant. Even if you put var, which is not accepted actually. Even if you are trying to put var, this is not accepted. Okay. Make sure that you do not change the value. Even if you change it will not allow. Any doubts here? Please rejoin. There are two other concepts like how to use functions with in-out argument and in-out argument. That is a major concept. And functions with multiple return values we have seen. Functions with optionals. Options we have not seen. We see that in-out parameter. Varied number of parameters we have seen. Nested functions. Yeah. Any doubts here?